if you do not tell your story, who will tell it for you? Until the lions learn to tell their story, the tale of the hunt will always glorify the hunter. So NTA has done so well in telling the Nigerian story, especially the tales of glory, away from the woes we see all over. We have a lot of stories to tell, but the challenge is we do not have funds to tell this story commercially. And I'm going to be blunt on this, in the sense that we are not for profit, so we don't work to make gains per se. We need to stay afloat, and we still insist on telling the Nigerian story, the success story from Nigeria. How do we do that without the help of NTA? We don't see it happening. So we have decided to approach you today to seek such collaboration.
You have the right people here who are going to make that happen. So what we should be planning now is, okay, these are the next steps we're going to be taking. We have several platforms, as you know, that this can fit right well into. We have a program called Tech Mode, which is focused on technology and innovation and everything you have spoken about in terms of, taking viable ideas and turning them into products that impact social life and, social impact. That is right, where Tech Mode comes in.
Somewhere inside this building, the future is being built. And we have been given full access.
The kind of people I'm meeting here every day are CEOs, governors, ministers, VIPs, tourists, students. This is a place for everyone, and the list goes on and on.
They say what happened here can turn an idea into a napkin, into a working machine in days.
So actually there are ideas in each and every one of us, because as far as we are staying in the society where there is problems around you, there are ideas that you can prefer. So what we need is people that can come up with ideas.
But the question is, what aren't they showing us yet?
So here at INNOV8 HUB, it's focused more on competence rather than gender. So if you're skilled enough to perform and execute certain tasks, you should get the job, or you should be able to prove that you can do this rather than considering whether you're male or female.
So now we have
the hub right where I work is a space that encourages capacity building. So the airport, we take courses, paid courses. The hub pays for courses. You take those courses, you learn, and also explore other areas.
This is where the Nigerian blood, creative, resilient, and fiercely intelligent, is put to the ultimate test.
So one of the challenges that I faced in my journey in product design is on a project. During conceptualization, I had complete brain fog. I was finding it difficult to try to translate the idea into a functional prototype. But then realizing this is something I want to do, realizing my passion for it, I delved deeper into it, having sleepless nights, but in the end, finding a solution.
Let me give you an example, R for I. Of course, in R for I, you may have, so to speak, 50 participants, as an example, right? 50 participants, it means in group, maybe 555. We need to develop their prototype within 2 weeks, space of 2 weeks. So you see, that's challenging because each one, it means we'll have to develop functional prototypes for each. You see, this is like 10 different prototypes, and our designers that are assigned to design each of these prototype, they come with, in one, you might have like 20 or 30 different component parts. You see, that's huge. So it means our printers will be on 24/7.
Okay, so when you're in a fix, when you've been writing a lot of codes for a while, and then you get stuck at some point, I personally, I take walks. I just distract myself, to get fresh perspectives, fresh ideas. Some other people like to take coffee. So coffee doesn't really work for me. So I do more of taking walks, listening to soothing songs, and yeah, that's about it.
Here, young, vibrant, and aspiring Nigerians gather, not just to dream, but to prove what an enabling environment can do to the most creative, talented, and innovative minds.
The first project I worked on was ear tag, animal ear tag. So it's a device that is used to monitor the health condition of a cow, right? So it monitors the temperature of a cow and it sends the data to an online database. So where, even if you are not in Nigeria, maybe you have your cow in Kaduna and they are grazing, so you can be in London, you can be in US, you are seeing the health condition of your cows while they are grazing in the farm.
Pillars of academia recognizing a new standard of practical learning, while CEOs and investors hunt the next billion-dollar idea.
In the last 5 years that we have been in engagement of innovation, research and development, venture creation, prototype development, human capital development through INNOV8 HUB, I have seen vividly firsthand that Nigerians are talented. Nigerians have capacity in any field of endeavor. But there's a caveat to it. Give them the environment, give them the training, give them the equipment, give them the mentorship. Nigerians can do and undo.
I feel like INNOV8 HUB brings a blend of comfort, clarity, and productivity. And if you ask me, that is quite impressive. I also feel like the work environment is quite peaceful, which allows their workers to think better. It brings more ideas and drives innovation. And one thing that's really amazed me about them is how they treat their guests. They've treated us really nicely. We've had lunch, which is quite impressive for any organization. And let's be real, food is the way to not just a man's heart, but a woman's heart also. So yes.
Over here in the INNOV8 HUB, Agritech, we carry out circular food system. So this system is a system where nothing goes to waste. So this is one of the things that we do differently. We try to manage waste because waste is a major problem, not just in Nigeria, in the world at large. So we look out for ways that we can manage waste. And for us, it forms a circular system. For instance, the droppings from the poultry, we can use it for organic manure at the orchard. Also, the droppings can also be used to form compost, which can be used as a planting medium inside our greenhouse for farming. Also, another thing that we do differently is something called the aquaponics system. This is an agri-technology. It's a system where we use fish wastewater, high in nutrients, to feed the orchard, to feed our plants. You can use it to grow any kind of crop. It is high in nutrients. Another thing we do differently is something called hydroponics. Now, this is farming on top of water. Now, it is not something that is common. It is rare.
Every lab here is critical. The product design lab and its empathy-driven mechanics, the electrical and electronics engineering EEE lab, forging electronics backbone, the 3D printing and laser technology lab creating physical reality on demand, the software engineering lab providing the digital intelligence, the simulation lab where systems fail safely, the sustainable energy lab ensuring the power never stops, the ceramics lab and its advanced material science, the biotechnology lab and agri-tech lab, solving the challenges of life and food. Even the specialized paint chemistry lab insulates and finishes every single final product.
There are many projects that all departments are going to be involved. Yeah, There are projects like that. I can give an example. Let me say we are developing an embedded system, or let me say a cool tech device that involves electronics. So the function of electronics there is to kind of provide components that's going to make the prototype work. And then we go into the embedded system by selecting, the embedded system will contribute by selecting the right microcontrollers or microprocessor. And then they'll finalize on the PCB design. Then after designing the PCB, we'll move into the Sustainable Development Department to create a PCB platforms, which is the single layer PCB board that we have here in Sustainable Development Department. Then from there, we move into the design. The car design developed from the electronics and embedded system is going to be supplied to the product design department to help them to look at the shape of how the prototype is going to look like. They will come up with the design, which I need to influence and tell them how it should look like. Then after that, they move it to the IoT department, where I need to bring the software department, electronics department, embedded system department to create an API and an IoT platform, Internet of Things platform. And then I now move into simulation department. So what the work of the simulation department is to visualize this prototype to a layman, whereby if they kind of do the simulation of the prototype, how to use the prototype, and a layman look at the scripts from the video, and you'll be able to understand the prototype itself and the solution. So if you look at it, we've brought all the departments together to solve a particular problem. So it's like a division of labor so that you can have a very efficient output.
The question is not what they are building, but what powerful, undeniable truth about Nigerian potential are these young minds forcing the entire national establishment to finally confront inside the walls of this revolutionary hub.
I started as a cleaner in this INNOV8, but I can see like myself doing beyond this job that I'm doing. Whenever I see them working, I'll be like, I want to do this work. I'll just leave my work. When I'm done, I'll just go there. So the management saw the interest. So, and I was asked if I would do. And I said, yes. My first attempt, it was like, it's not useful. Like, you can't even use it. It's of no use because you don't know what you're doing, but you're trying to work. But my most recent is wowed by people. You can see this. You can see the details that it gives. It prints layer by layer. You can see the details for somebody having 6 parts. Every layer, layer by layer. So with this thousands. Thousands of it. You can see the back. Somebody that gyms.
The sheer velocity of technological output is not merely a benchmark. It is the most compelling proof of concept for this entire hub.
Before I get here, I was a building engineer. Yes, so I have the idea of 2D to 3D. You know, if you want to start building, you should build in 2D. You put everything together before you can have the whole house. So I have the idea from there, and when I started working in laser, so I used the idea I have back then.
They create the models of those products, and then we collect them and apply textures, realistic textures. For example, if the product we are working with is stainless steel, we have to apply a texture that simulates stainless steel. So that once the person sees it, or the owner of the product, or anyone, maybe it could be pitching, and sees that product, they'll be like, oh, this looks exactly as what I'm building, right? And then we create animations for those products to illustrate how those products will be used. So those videos will be used for pitch purposes. For example, you have an investor that could invest in your idea. So you don't need to say so much once you have an animation illustrating what that product will be used for. So once the investor sees it, they quickly get your idea, and it reduces the time spent in explaining to them.
If we start producing our own, maybe fighter jets, and we want to do prototype, I can be part of it. Or we want to do a car, I can do a prototype. Many other things. Just if the idea come up, then I can work with the idea.
Every rapid prototype and every shortened development cycle directly substantiate the mission, demonstrating how interdisciplinary collaboration can compress months of work into days, thereby fulfilling the promise of building an entire innovation pipeline locally.
High capacity service provision, low capacity service provision, and high tech and low tech. And Nigerians who are seeing ideas become solutions, who are seeing the Nigerian stories, who are telling the Nigerian stories, who are tapping inspiration and hope from what is coming out of Innovation Hub. Then, talking about members of the academia, we have a very vibrant partnership with TETFund, the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, a partnership that has given birth to fantastic programs that we co-created with TETFund, such as TETFAIR, TIW, Research for Impact, that's R4I, ASIP, etc.
For decades, brilliant Nigerian academic research often died on the page. The gap between a university thesis and a market-ready product was a chasm too wide to cross. The gap is now closed by TETFAIR, the Tertiary Education Trust Fund Alliance for Innovative Research.
We have a one-stop solution. No longer will the farmers begin to look for mancozeb for copper oxide to treat these various problems, but just our products will tackle this.
A strategic collaboration between TETFund and INNOV8 HUB that brings academics and innovators from institutions across the country to translate raw ideas and projects into tangible innovations, solutions, and enterprises. It forces theory to meet technology.
This innovation is a vertical axis wind turbine system that generates electricity 24 hours. When you have wind in your axis, you can just place this innovation on a rooftop, and the moment the blades turn, you have constant electricity.
This is a motorized two-row multi-grain planter that solves the problem of inconsistency in planting, that increase the efficiency of planting and make mechanized planting affordable to the small-scale farmers. Because the small-scale farmers cannot afford the tractor-mounted planters because of the cost. A single tractor costs about 54 million to something, but this one cannot be more than 1.5 million. Depth of planting is regulated to the best or the recommended depth of planting for the crop. And it plants not only single crop, it plants different crops. So that other planters, you find they only plant one single crop and one row. But this machine plants different type of crops and two rows at a time with a fertilizer microdose at the same time.
This is a plastic melting and recycling machine. It turns plastic waste into a durable, affordable, aesthetic, and eco-friendly interlocking tiles. From the research, after the lab work, this one is more durable. And when we talk of affordability, it's cheaper, 55% cheaper. The unit price of concrete interlocking ties starts between 600 to 1,000 naira. This one within 250 and 350 naira, depending on the size you get it. Not only that, when you talk of the performance in water and crack resistance, this has 0.1% water absorption in percentage, while that of cement has 5 to 8% water absorption.
So this is the soap here. So can we take the process? So this is the cooking unit. So in this cooking unit here, the moringa materials moringa material to make the soap is transferred into this chamber here. This is the cooking unit. So once it's transferred into this cooking unit here, the chamber is responsible for mixing, a regulated mixing, calculated mixing, and then heat that is supplied to it is controlled, while the motor is mixing at a reasonable speed. From there, we transfer it into this chamber here to reduce the heat from the soap so that it can be a little bit solid, and we transfer it into the mold. So the function of the mold is to have a square shape. So this square shape, once it's cold and solidified, we transfer it into the cutting machine and it's cut it into shape. So from this shape here, we will now for us to have a stamp on this, We will transfer the shape here, inside here, and we compress it. So once you press it, it gives the shape because this is the mold, and the name Evergreen Soap is going to come out. And then this is the packaging. Then we put it inside here, and the soap is ready. Moringa is ready.
These products are now market iterated, community responsive, and positioned for true scalability.
The Honorable Minister only recently inaugurated a commercialization committee for research outputs, and the primary aim of that is being able to bridge that gap between research outcomes and industrial uptake, so we can now begin to mass produce it for our people to use. That is the only way you can affect them directly, by changing their lifestyle, their standard of living, and making goods and services available to them, in addition to the efficiencies that you create in the production process that will help in terms of profitability and so on and so forth.
This is how national policy, through collaboration, unlocks national potential. TETFAIR and ASIP are not just building machines, they are building the next generation of Nigerian enterprises right out of the university system.
Through TETFund and INNOV8 HUB, a paradigm shift is happening in Nigerian academia, where now lecturers are teaching the students on how to research for solution, on how to be entrepreneurs. And when I talk about entrepreneurship, it is not about businesses alone. It's about finding new solutions, new ways to doing things, old things, and new things that have never been done before. That's the spirit of entrepreneurship. And that's what we're preaching across Nigeria. That is what INNOV8 HUB stands for.
You can build a bridge between an idea and a product. But how do you build a bridge between young persons and a future they can barely afford to stay in?
So these people, each one comes with his own what he offers to the table. So it's just like having an orchestra. You have a guitarist who perhaps can be the fabrication expert. You have the drummer who can be in AI and coding. You have, all the instrumental parts. And what this does at the end of the day is to create beautiful musical harmony. So think about this now from the angle of innovation. We're creating beautiful, innovative products and services that will be beneficial to national development, that will be beneficial to the society at large, and will definitely help to jumpstart our economy in becoming the startup nation that Nigeria has been touted to become. Okay, the bootcamp. Okay, so just something random. Can you tell me your name?
Sustainability in Nigeria, impact in Nigeria, in helping Nigeria become a startup nation, a nation where individuals can translate ideas into enterprise. So I have seen massive human capital deposit in Nigeria through INNOV8 HUB. We have all of them here, experts in diverse fields. And these individuals are extremely talented. Take my word to the bank, extremely talented. You've seen things they've been producing, prototyping, creating out of the hub. We've seen individuals from here who won NASA competitions. We've seen individuals from the hub who won IEE, that EEE competition. These organizations are based in the US. NASA belongs to America. There was a solution they were asking for that anybody could, if anyone could bring an idea that could solve such problem. Somebody from INNOV8 HUB came third place. They won International Electrical Electronics Engineering Association based in New York. First position came from INNOV8 HUB, our simulation team. So, INNOV8 HUB is simply from Nigeria to the world.
This is my first time at INNOV8 HUB, and it has been an amazing experience. It is not normally seen where people are actually encouraged to carry out this skill of tech. They mostly involve in handiwork, but here at INNOV8 HUB, they have a department to accommodate every type of skill, and it's just amazing that everybody has space to actually express themselves and then build on ideas and just understanding how well things can revolve. Not just being, okay, we have VR, the virtual reality understanding how those ideas came about and how well those people help us develop it. It's just amazing that they do things like this here, and I'm so happy to have that opportunity.
We have seen the juniors. We have seen the commitment and the story of the Nigerian innovator, fueled by resilience but starved of opportunity. It's only just beginning. They call it the JAPA, the brain drain, the mass exodus of Nigeria's most valuable resource. But now, we must ask the fundamental question: is JAPA truly an irreversible tide, or is it simply a lack of oxygen? If facilities like this hub, where talent is matched by tools, where collaboration replaces chaos, and where interdisciplinary genius is empowered, are built and backed nationwide, does the crisis vanish? We have been shown the future they are determined to build. Now we must find out the cost of that commitment.